Hey, what's going on, guys? You just got Professor O coming through the dose of that good yolk. I'm everywhere like broken glass. I'm around like a circle. Anyway, anyhow, let's get down to this round now. Today, I want to talk about staying cool. Now, listen here, listen clear. Always got to stay cool, calm, and collective. Why? Because that's how you get the benefits and the proper expected result that you desire, right? You want this, you need this. This is what happens. Why is it so hard? Why is it so difficult? A lot of others may wonder. Well, because number one, first and foremost, you got to realize you're not operating on the emotional level anymore. You're operating on the logical level. Now, I would never sit here and say that your emotions are not important. Emotions are everything, literally. They are truly, truly, truly such a beautiful trait to have, literally. And it makes you aware, it makes you conscious of everything and anything that's happening. And the more deeper you are in understanding your emotions, the more responsive you will be to them instead of being reactive. I digress, right? You know I'm long-winded. Anyway, anyhow, let's get down to this round now. You know I got the handy dandy notebook and spot. Don't make it hot. Who writes in script? Clearly your boy still does. Don't hate me because you ain't me. Maybe need appreciate, never deviate or devastate. Levitate and meditate. I think you can. All right. Anyway, anyhow, let's get down to this round now. To be a hothead is literally a waste of energy and time. Now listen here and listen clear. I've seen many of them. Many a man walk around and they'll yell, they'll scream, they'll stomp their feet, this, that, and the third. And I'll just really sit there and look at them like, oh wow, they're really involved in this interaction right now. Like they're genuinely, because my mind's made up. Like I thought about this. I reasoned out the ins, the outs. I reasoned out what the most beneficial result of my decision. So I waited. I was like, all right, so I'm just gonna do it like this. I'm gonna tell you, and that's what it is. I'm not asking one to tell you. And depending on how they react, I'll just watch and sit there like, oh wow, they're really giving it their all. They're yelling, screaming, stomping their feet, calling me names. Oh wow, that's a new insult. I've never heard that one before. But my mind has already been made up, so it doesn't really matter. You're literally, this is just noise at this point. Because you ever see like when on Charlie Brown when you ever hear the parent wah 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 wah? That's all I just hear. But again, you don't see their feet. You just see the whole entire body, in their current emotion. I'm just like, oh wow, this is something. This is you're really doing this. And I'm like, oh, all right. Well, anyway, even the scriptures speak. A soft answer turns away wrath, while hard words stirs up anger. Because honestly, they be so involved in their emotional outbursts that they don't even hear themselves until they only hear themselves, like literally. Because I'm not going to respond, I'm just going to look at you. And then when you see that I'm only looking at you and you're the one that's responding, you're screaming, then that's when the value starts to take a simper down. Like it starts to go, ooh, because they only hear themselves and you realize, oh wow, they're really loud. Like, yeah, are you there? Are you back now? Are you in your awareness right now? Because clearly you tilted for a second. All right, you back, you stable, you upright. All right, I digress. Stay with me now. Understand, to be mad or angry is a reaction excuse me. I'm writing a script, all right, very early in the morning. It can be not the neatest, but we get into it. Understand, to be mad or angry is a reaction you chose. When you gain emotional intelligence, you'll start responding. And I mean that, like literally, because you gotta realize, it took me a while to really understand, and I'm not saying I was a hothead or anything, but I didn't understand that it was a phrase that no one gets you mad, you chose to be mad in the situation. Because there's always going to be outside sources that's going to even try you. The enemy works nonstop. Remember that. The enemy works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is determined to tilt you, to get you tilted. He don't want you upright. He wants you tilted. He wants you leaning lopsided. He wants something to be, double-minded with you. He don't want you to be totally centered. You know what I'm saying? And the enemy literally, and the more centered that you are, the more, the more determined the enemy would be to tilt you off. And I'm telling you, you'd be surprised. Why? Because number one, you can't tilt me because I'm already upright and I'm sexy. Hey now, it's just what it is. Deal with it, right? Can you dig what I'm saying? I'm thinking. Anyway, anyhow, let's get down this round now. So now you realize that you start responding and stop reacting, because the more you start to respond, it's because you're using a point from logic and you're using a point from understanding and you haven't been moved. remember this, like, and I made this a video ago. I don't talk about this topic enough because I never had a good enough example, but this one conjures a good moment. So no one can disturb your oasis. Remember, this is your personal pond, your mentality, your mental state. That's your personal pond. It's your pond where you take your showers in. It's your pond when you relax in. It's your pond when you just get a rejuvenated thought, right? That's remember, the minute you have anything outside interrupt your pond, it could be anything. It could be people entering into your mind, planting things, they dirtying up your pond. And the thing about it is, like, a lot of people will use your pond to clean themselves, leave their dirt, and then they walk away clean while they left all the filth in your mind. Literally. So you can't let anybody or anything disturb your personal oasis. This is your oasis here. You want to keep it clean, keep it fresh. Mind what you're listening to, mind what you're paying attention to. Also realize thoughts are within, thoughts are without. Know thyself and know thy difference. You really understand that, because at the same time, when you're comprehending exactly how things operate, and when you're comprehending and knowing who you are, you're operating in God's grace, then you'll be able to understand a little bit more of what He's provided for you, and you could be having access to a whole plethora of information that will be beneficial to you and beneficial for you. But in order to be able to get that, you have to be centered into a point where now you're becoming more well-rounded and you're not operating in fits of anger or fits of despair, etc., so forth. And once you start getting into that and you're getting more emotional intellect, now you're not becoming reactive, you're becoming more responsive. So now you may feel, this is why I say feelings are very important. Why? Because feelings are a compass of where love needs to be and faith needs to activate. Now, but to operate on something that's so fleeting, because again, just because you feel it now, you may not feel it later. And if you're continuously feeling it later, then that means you have to make you haven't done anything to make a difference or make a change. But if you can't do anything in your immediate power, and that's when you give it to God. This is the reason why faith is so important, because faith alleviates a lot of the stress that you're trying to take on that you don't necessarily need to take on. You can't overextend yourself, and you can't outdo what Jesus did, period. But I digress, right? I'm long-winded. Let's get down to it now. Let's get to it. Cool, calm, and collected will always be the true path of growth and success. Why? Because when you're cool, everything is smooth. Everything is going to operate in a proper order. You're going to be able to look at things, see things properly. Calm, well, clearly your oasis hasn't been disturbed. And being that your oasis hasn't been disturbed and your personal pond hasn't been disturbed, the waters are calm, the waters are cool, the tide is manageable. You're able to see things properly for what they are. Because realize this, if you're emotionally disturbed, and you're sad, frustrated, anxious, anxiety, whatever the case may be, mad, anger, fear, whatever. If you're disturbed, your pond is being shifted. That means the waters aren't calm right now. So they may toss you to and fro, and your vision may be tilted. And if your vision is tilted or is blind or whatever the case may be, you won't be able to see the whole thing. If you can't see the whole thing, then you can't make a proper decision on irrationality, because you become irrational. You may become erratic, you may become anxious, whatever the case may be. You're not centered. The more centered you are, the more you'll be able to see things from a centered point and to be able to make a decision that will be beneficial for your present and for your future. I digress. And collected, literally having everything in order. Now, again, remember, life is tentative, and there's also, life is geometric. It isn't linear. It takes leaps and bounds. So to have things collected and in a proper state, in a proper order, I wouldn't say it's nearly impossible, but we can just do the best that we can to have things in the most manageable position as we possibly can. Even so, when you're doing that, that puts you in a high percentage of success, because you already know you have things in order. Now, again, expect the best, prepare for the worst. Simple as that. You keep that in the back of your head. Also add in faith. Nothing will ever stop you, because at the same time, all right, if I'm doing it this way, and if success didn't happen, all right, great, I was already prepared for that. But I'm also understanding that success is guaranteed because I'm operating through faith, period. You know what I'm saying? Remember, faith happens when God happens, it happens at the right time, not on your time. So it is what it is. All right. Drink your water. Can't live drinking on fizz. And I mean that. Why? Because realize this, and this is more like a person, I am not here to knock anybody that drinks soda, juice, whatever the case may be. But You can't drink and think. Simple as that. And if you're smoking, you're joking. So it's always good to just stay sober-minded, you know what I'm saying? And drink your water. You know, I'm not talking about the soda or the fish, even though that stuff is not, you know, because trust me, I drink nothing but water. Literally, I really try to stick to drinking nothing but water because it's so refreshing, especially when you need your thirst to be quenched. But when you drink it, it's just stick to your water. Find a good water that's complementary to your body chemistry and drink your water. It works. It feels good. It keeps your mind sober. Keeps your mind straight. And then you also start realizing that you're in a state of drink your water. I'll leave it like that. I'm not going to over-intellectualize water. Your body is made from what, like 75 to 85% of water. Why not drink more to keep complementing it, right? Can you dig it? I think you can. You'd be surprised how much people respect that form of intellect and neglect. I say intellect because when people look at someone cool, calm, and collected, they respect it. Although they themselves may not be cool, calm, and collected. They may be hot and bothered. So when you're dealing with individuals that have the cool, calm, and collective type of perspective, it tends to come with an automatic respect because now they see that, all right, this guy he's not reactive, he's responsive, and it's an inner type of respect towards that. But also, when I say they respect that neglect, those are the individuals that are experienced the cool, calm, and collective, and they may be in the perspective of hot and bothered. And if they're hot and bothered and they see that you're not matching the energy, remember that fire will be doused out, period, because fire needs oxygen to live. And if you're not literally speaking life into the situation, it has no oxygen to live off of. So being that it has no oxygen to live off of, it's trying to grab on anything that's tangible to keep the fire burning. But if there's nothing to grab on that's not, you know, ignitable or flammable, more so, for better terms, then it won't connect. It can't connect. You know what I'm saying? It'll douse itself out. It'll originally sizzle out. You'll just see smoke, whatever the case may be. And you're already been centered. You didn't move. You didn't need to move. Everything else was moving around you. And this made it even an equal situation when it doused itself out. So they respect that because they have no choice but to at the same time. Now, there are some that just be like, yo, you know what? Nah, I don't care. I'm going to be quiet, this, that, and the third, etc., so forth. You leave those, you know, again, you stay centered. Because at the end of the day, they haven't chosen their path. And again, maybe their light turned on and they didn't want to keep the light on. And that's the issue. Again, I tell you this all the time. Now, I speak about this part very extensively. When the light turns on in anything, remember, it's not the aha, the eureka moment. It's when the light turns on, you see yourself for who you truly are and the ins and outs, the sexual, so forth, the positive and negative. And you make that firm decision to either clean up, pick up the dustpan and broom, clean up, take out the traits that doesn't no longer serve you, put in some traits that do serve you, or refine the traits you already have. Pick up that dustpan and broom and get to it. Or you turn the light off, like, nothing wrong with me, etc., so forth. And when that happens, remember all the dirt that was still left in, now you start accumulating more dirt to kind of complement that dirt, or to kind of, how do you say, more so pacify your current perspective, because you see yourself for who you are and what you are, and you choose not to make any refinement or any choice to make a difference. You start to add in more foolishness, more bullshit, etc., so forth. Excuse my language, but a lack of better term, but it is what it is. And then now you don't make that firm decision of bettering yourself towards that. And it is what it is, right? That's just what it is and how it is, right? There's nothing you can do about it, we can do about it. It is what it is, whatever. What can you say? What can we do? But the best that we can, right? But when you deal with individuals such and such like that, remember, you give grace. Why? Because God giving you grace, you give likewise, because now you're creating a memory for whenever they do decide to take the singular path, whatever the case may be, they'll be able to have a memory to reminisce on an example on how it was handled in that current situation. And when they experience their similar situation, they'll have something to kind of jot back to, reminisce on, a reference to be able to handle it in their own personal situation or their personal experience, right? I digress. Use that logic that God blessed you with, literally. Why? Because God has blessed you with logic to be able to do so. Like, literally. That's the whole point. God has given you logical inspiration, like gave you logic to be able to dictate your situation properly so you could be able to help other individuals that may not be on the logical spectrum, that may not be able to obtain some of the patience that they've received, that you received. But again, you know, this isn't a I'm better than you, you're better than me. It's just a point. It just shows proof of where others have chosen to develop their mentality rather than being comfortable with their mentality. Because to develop anything, you're constantly putting yourself in a state of uncomfort because you see that to master something for the future, you're going to be comfortable later. And that's another thing. Remember, it's all about anybody that choose to work on themselves, choose to take that path like, all right, they want to be better, they want to do better, and they're willing to be uncomfortable now so they can be comfortable later. A lot of individuals don't want to do that, and they can't do that because what comes with it, the minute you decide to take the path of development is the minute everything and everybody around you is going to go against you, because at the same time, you're literally changing your frequency, you're changing your signal, you're changing everything about you, you're changing your chemistry. And if you're changing your chemistry, you're changing your signal, you're changing your frequency, you have to realize you vibrate at a certain vibrance or a certain resonance. So the minute you start catering to your vibration, you start catering to your frequency, you start catering to your signal, that's changing. And as you're changing, remember, as you think it, you emit it. So if you're emitting a different type of signal because you're catering to your frequency, then everything becomes different because now you're not vibrating at a similar frequency anymore. You're vibrating at a different frequency. And now when you're vibrating at a different frequency, others around you are either going to try to put you where you're comfortable at because they also benefit from it. Remember, a lot of people would like to keep you stuck just to keep so they can stay comfortable, etc. and so forth. Or they're going against it because it's not recognizable anymore. Now they say, yo, you're changing, or, you know, this, that, and the third, who you think you are. Remember, when your light is turned on and you're choosing to keep it on, you got to remember that form of thought or that form of perspective, period, tends to turn everyone else's lights on around them autonomously. And you're going to turn on other people's light who had their light turned on by themselves, but then they also made the choice to turn their light off and to add in more dirt, wherever the case may be. So then now when they turn their light on, or when you turn their light on autonomously and without, you know, choice, whatever the case may be, they see themselves for who they are currently. Remember, a lot of individuals see themselves for who they were, not for who they are. See, and what I mean by that is that when they decide to turn that light off, they only remember what they seen then. They don't remember who they became after. But then they start to see who they became after once they see how much has accumulated in that situation. And if they see how much that accumulated and they see themselves for who they are, then that's when the insecurities kick in. Who do you think you are? Oh, you think you're better than me? Oh, you think you're better than this? Oh, you think you don't know how to act, like you Mr. Perfect, this, that, and the third. And mind you, you never said anything like that. You never portrayed yourself or anything like that. At best, you probably portrayed yourself a little bit more confidently than who you were prior to who they know than to who you are now. And that becomes offensive to others because they don't comprehend growth because they chose not to grow. Just because you're growing old don't mean you're growing up. It is what it is, right? And again, yeah, that's it. Again, this message is for the adept out there, for the master, the expert, the proficient, efficient, and sufficient. The one that's always doing it and never losing it. That's growing, that's glowing, that's going at all times. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. And remember, speak good, do good, see good. Cause when it is good, it's all good. Can you dig it? And for the haters out there that love looking at your boy, make sure you look at my good side because you know that I'm sexy. Do you dig what I'm saying? I think you can. Peace, love, and light. I'll see you guys in the next video.